Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Republican Party, Mr. Michael Steele.
Oh, it's my turn already, huh? I was looking to come and sit down and finish my water. You're not going to put me to work. Okay. You're okay? Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? It is an honor to be with you. It's a personal honor to be here with you. And this is my first visit back to Chicago and the Chicago area as the chairman of the Republican National Committee. And I'm very honored to be here and to spend some time in the community to talk with you and to give you a sense of what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it and why it's important for you to know about it. And my buddy, Mr. Butler, I hear he's got a little radio show. I heard, and I hear he mixes it up quite good from time to time. Yeah, I've actually been on once or twice.
About 5 times.
Yeah, and all I know is that when you call into a show and they kind of put you on hold, you're kind of waiting, and you can hear the program, and I hear him tearing somebody up. I'm like, Lord, I really don't want to do this. He's a friend, but this is not going to be good. But no, it is a real pleasure to be here, and I see you got the professor working today. It's good to see you again, man. You doing all right?
You're fine. I woke up this morning.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen. Well, I wanted to stop by because a lot of times in the past, the Republican Party would blow into a town and would not take time to visit the entire community. And I was struck by, in 2004, I was actually here for some work on behalf of the presidential campaign. And I was doing some work in Detroit. And in particular, this one church basement on a Saturday morning, I was invited to speak the Right Reverend Al Sharpton. And that was fun. And Al and I were in this basement, and we, doing our thing. And I was there representing President Bush, and he was there representing John Kerry, and you're doing the Democrat-Republican thing back and forth and all of that. And of course, wasn't feeling much love in the room at that time. Although I tell you, the grits was good. It was like my mom's. I was like, they may not like me, but I love their grits. And the reality of it for me was brought home in a very stark way when at the end of our discussion that morning, a woman came up to me as I was leaving, and she said, well, I just want to let you know that I appreciate your being here. I didn't agree with anything you said, but I'm glad you came here to say it. This was the kicker. She goes, when you go back and you see the president, would you tell him the next time he comes to this state, to Michigan, if he would come and see us too? Now that said a lot to me, because it said that the President of the United States, irrespective of party, would come to Michigan and not spend time in Detroit. That's a problem. So as I came to Illinois and into Chicago, I wanted to make sure I came to the South Side and say, hey, I'm here and I want to listen and I want to be a part of this community's conversation. It is a particular pleasure to certainly be here to be a part of Charles and his program and what he does and bringing a real honest conversation to the community. But it's even more important to be here a part of a historic enterprise at WVON. WVON. Amen. That has an important link to the community and to the state. And so I salute the legacy of WVON and the leadership, the owners. I know she's out of town, and I'm sorry I missed her, and please give my regards. But the one thing that I've learned growing up in Washington, D.C., and then running for office in Maryland, getting elected lieutenant governor, first black lieutenant governor, first black statewide candidate, is that there's an enormous opportunity to define for America and to define for our community sometimes the historic links that we've already created. I remember running for, working during the 2008 campaign, and I'd always get the question, so you support Obama? And I would go, well, no. But as an African American, I'm extremely proud of what he was doing and certainly what he has done. And what I find exciting about these times is that we can have a debate now that is in the fullness of this country. We're no longer relegated to just the black issues, whatever they are. All right, it's like when they appointed, you know, when every administration they were in the past would appoint an African American secretary, you were guaranteed HUD. I mean, you guaranteed HUD. You know, maybe the Department of Education. But now we recognize that the community has a hand in shaping the course of the country. We have a hand in shaping the course of the world. Because when you stop and think about it, folks, two black men sit up top of the political infrastructure of this nation. And that's good, irrespective of your views, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. You cannot lose sight of that. So there's enormous capacity right now for the community to make incredible strides forward. One of the things I say continuously to a lot of Republicans are like, well, gee, you know, how do we get black folks to listen? How do, you know, we go and they don't vote for us. Well, I said, well, I'm not going to vote for you either if you show up 6 weeks before an election, stick a flyer in my face and say, vote for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to vote for you either if they stick a flyer in my door and tell me, well, you know, we're not the Democrats, we're better than that. I'm not going to vote for you either. And I refuse to carry that water. I refuse to carry that water. One of the things that I made very clear upon getting elected chairman of this party was that we were going to take this party to the community. We were going to take it to the neighborhoods. We were going to go to places where we haven't been before. And we were going to have conversations with some people who may not like us at first. And all I ask is that we be given an opportunity to share a few thoughts, a few ideas, and the rest is up to you. But my view of it is you need to be empowered now in a way, in an unprecedented way. In an unprecedented way. When you look at the travel, the course, the time that it's taken to get from the Middle Passage to 40 acres and a mule, to affirmative action, to the election of Barack Obama, there's been a whole lot of stuff that's gone on. And there's been a whole lot of enterprises that have been created by the hands of black Americans. So the question now becomes, what's your stake in the present, but most importantly, what's your stake in the future? What I want us to appreciate, something my mother taught me, sharecropper's daughter, fifth grade education from South Carolina, Orangeburg. Anybody from Orangeburg? Anybody from South Carolina? Who understood that while the promise of this nation